So today, the U.S. Embassy in Bali posting a terrorism attack warning for New Year's Eve. And with the recent failed airplane bomb attempt, we are taking a look at what these events mean for the fight against terrorism with James Carafano. He is Senior Research Fellow for National Security and Homeland Security at the Heritage Foundation in Washington. James, thank you for joining us. We have Bali issuing a warning. We have a near disaster over the airspace in Detroit, yet you don't believe the threat level is that high. Why is that?
Well, not for the aviation sector. If the terrorists had crotch bombing down to a science, they wouldn't do sequential attacks. They would have launched them simultaneously and done a bunch of them like they were going to do at the liquid bombing plot in 2006. So my guess is this is more like a Richard Reed scenario where they just run something up there to see if it works. And having seen it not work, and there's a big hornet's nest of airline security right now, it doesn't make sense that they would go back on that. And having said that, I think a lot of the extra security measures after the Detroit incident are, over abundance of caution. That's okay, because I could be wrong. But I don't think we'll see an aviation thing. Now, there might be some attacks against some other sectors, but I think the aviation threat's actually a little less right now. So
it sounds like what you're saying is that Christmas Day attempt was a bit of a trial balloon.
It could well be, but this is a pattern we see with al-Qaeda. They don't give up. They innovate in a very narrow margin. So they tried a body bomb once with the shoe bomber. I'm sure they'll try this again. I'm sure they'll try liquid bombings again, and I'm sure that at some point they're going to try internal bombs, where you actually have the explosives physically inserted into a cavity like mules do with drugs, and then you detonate the bomb using a cell phone or some other external electronic device. So I think all those three threats we'll see again. We may not see them tomorrow or next month or next year, but we'll see them again. So
all the security measures, the extra security measures that were put in place following the attempted bombing on Christmas Day, that not only adds to the illusion of safety, it might actually deter some incident?
Well, that's right. I think, terrorists like predictability. They like to know what they're going to face. And when you mix up security like that, it's a deterrent. So even though there may not have been a higher threat, another thing, it's probably a good thing to do. I wouldn't be surprised if actually in the United States and in U.S. international flights, if we start to see more of this, if we start to see more variation in aviation security to just keep the terrorists off balance. So it'll be frustrating to airline passengers to go, how come on some flights I can get out of my seat and other flights I can't? How come on some planes I can do this and some flights I can't? But I think that may actually be the norm of the future, maybe on different flights at different airports at different times. They tell you to do different things.
Okay, but at the same time, James, you say that the emphasis on aviation safety is a bit overblown, if not misplaced. Where then should our attention be?
Well, that's easy. It's, get the terrorists before they get us. The gold standard is the plot of 2006. That was they were going to take liquids, put them on airplanes, fly to the United States, and blow the planes up before they landed. We uncovered that plot. We penetrated it. We took it down. We developed countermeasures. We got the message out to the American public, all before the terrorists did anything. So the right answer is to, get the terrorists. I mean, in this case, we had an active terrorist network in a country where we know there's a problem. We know they want to kill Americans. We know they're recruiting people. We know they're outfitting them with these kinds of bombs. And yet they put this whole attack together, and our intelligence system didn't know anything about it. That's a real failure. But the bang for the buck is in getting the terrorists.
You're referring to, of course, the links there to Yemen. To what extent does the U.S. have any kind of on-the-ground intelligence in that country?
Well, actually, we're pretty good, and that's actually why this actually surprises me greatly. We've actually, we know Yemen's a problem. We know it's been a problem for a long time. The Yemeni government works with us. We've actually been hitting al-Qaeda there. We've got eyes on the ground there. I'm more worried about Somalia. It's really a triangle. Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and Somalia. Al-Qaeda has links all three there. The Saudis have gone after their guys very, very hard. We've actually been working with the Yemeni government. We have almost no knowledge on what's going on in Somalia, where al-Shabaab, which is an al-Qaeda affiliate, which has good ties with Yemen at all. So I'm really actually surprised that an attack came out of this part of the world, and we weren't on top of it from the get-go.
What kind of political pressure can the U.S. government put on other countries to try to bring down the temperature of the tensions?
Well, of course, in terms of dealing with this group, we're working very well with the Saudis. We're going to do a lot more with the Yemenis. Somalia is really a lost cause at this point. Internationally, there's an awful lot we can do to improve aviation security. You know, countries, for example, like Nigeria, don't share PNR data. That's passenger name recognition data, information on the itinerary and where the person is going. If we had that kind of data, that's very, very helpful. So there's some real information intelligence sharing issues. And even countries like with Great Britain, who's one of our best partners and very good intelligence, they had some key pieces of data that they didn't give us. So there's an awful lot to do. But I kind of worry about the president who says, you know, I'm going to fix the system. You can't fix the system, and the system's always going to fail. And that's because the terrorists are always going to innovate and improvise and change. And so you got to be on this thing 24/7, 365. You can't just fix it and then go back to the health care bill.
Right. We got to be right all the time. They only have to be lucky once. Thank you so much. We've been speaking with James Carafano of the Heritage Foundation.